Hello YouTube, it is Championdjk coming at you again with another oddball defunct brand video. We've got Malibu International Limited. I don't believe they make castings or toolings. I have no idea what ended up happening with these toolings. If anybody owns the rights to them, if they still exist, I have not a clue. We're going to take a look at them today. Now, some of these castings will actually... only one, maybe two of these toolings I think were actually used as Greenlight Motor World toolings at one point in time. I'll point out those two as we go. I think there was two. And then I don't really know much about the history of this brand or what happened with them or what. I've got a ton of them actually in my collection. This little haulage in front of here that you see, we've got 11 vehicles, and these all I got from a Facebook seller. I think most of them from a Facebook seller. I also did get some off of eBay, maybe. Anywho and how, I've got a few that I haven't really looked at or shown on video, so we're going to take a look at these. Eventually, some other time, we'll take a look at the entire collection that I have of these. I have actually quite a few of them. They're a little bit weird. You can find them somewhat cheap. They made cars in 1/64 scale, and they also made them in 1/87 scale. And I think that's it. But they're a little interesting. They're a little weird, and I thought they'd be a little bit fun to show. The neat thing is that some of the toolings we're going to look at, such as this Ford Focus Coupe, never were, I don't think, seen made by any other brand. A lot of the packaging I have here for these is pretty roached, so I like to take them out of the package. I'll store them in a different way once we get them out. But here is your 1/64 scale Ford Focus Coupe, and again, Malibu International Limited. We'll take all the packaging is going to essentially look like this. 1/64 scale. It's got that right there. Now, these are all licensed. They would have been all licensed. This is the information you get here. MalibuInternationalToys.com. You know, I never figured to go there, but then you see it's manufactured by High Speed. So sometimes people will say this Greenlight tooling is an old High Speed tooling. This is what they're talking about when they say that. I've said that a few times. Nobody really says it anymore because they don't really use any high-speed castings anymore. But they used to use quite a few of them in the Motor World lineup. But yeah, there's that. Please keep packaging information for any possible correspondence. Interesting. Okay. I don't think they're going to be corresponding with anyone. Let's go ahead and remove this first car from the base. This is, again, the 1964, I keep wanting to say, which doesn't make any sense. 1/64 scale. Ford Focus Coupe. I'm just going to put that screw in there, put this right here, and set that aside, and we'll take a look at the casting. The interesting thing we're going to find out is they're not all made the same. They are made in China. This particular one has rubber tires. It has inserts for taillights and headlights and a grille, which look pretty good. And as far as I know, this is the only 1/64 scale version of this car I've ever seen in diecast, which is kind of neat when you can when you get that. It's like, who's got a Ford Focus Coupe? Well, I do. I've got this one, and I think that's the only one you'd ever find anywhere. If anybody knows of any other one, you know, let me know in the comments. As far as the scale accuracy, I really can't comment on these because a lot of them, again, you're not going to see them made by any other company. So it's hard to say. But being that they made 1/87 scale and 1/64 scale cars, I'd assume they're probably pretty close to being that. But this is a cool little Ford. Again, it's pretty neat. I mean, it's different. It's an oddball little thing. It'd be a fun thing to take some pictures of and stuff like that because, I don't know, not a lot of people probably even know that this casting exists. Right? So, it's kind of cool. Let's pull down this guy. This is, I actually have one of these already, but I got another one just because it was in this lot, and the lot was so cheap. But this is, and the packaging is chipped and broken. This is an Alfa Romeo 156 GTA. And again, I would argue that this is probably another car that has not really been represented in 1/64 scale other than possibly this Malibu line. Whoever had these didn't really take care of them all that well, and that's okay. The cars look to be in pretty good shape. The packaging isn't, but the cars look like to be pretty good. But look at that. The little grill up there, the graphics up there don't look too fantastic, but it does have inserts for headlights. It's got little tiny inserts for the taillights. You can see right there, Alfa Romeo logo. Looking good. Wheels look pretty good. And just an interesting car to get in 1/64 scale. These toolings, this one is riveted together. I think they're all riveted together, and then they're all plastic bases. Rubber tires, plastic bases. You know, they're kind of, in the regard, these are kind of manufactured the same way. They got the rubber tires, they got all that stuff. And then kind of like a Kyosho a little bit. Kind of. Just kind of. They do have thick paint, so some of the panel lines get a little hidden, especially in this right here. But still, kind of a neat little pairing of cars there. Just different, you know, it's something different. Then let's get into, actually, I'm going to set this there. Let's look at some Land Rover. We got the Land Rover Range Rover Sport, and then the Land Rover Range Rover. So the Sport and the Non-Sport edition. And you're going to see these are done very differently. And this is what I'm talking about when it comes to these Malibu diecast. You're going to see like what the lower end looks like, and I guess the higher end looks like. So let's start with the higher end, because it's kind of what we're used to seeing with these other two cars, where you're going to get rubber tires, you're going to get inserted details for headlights and taillights, and that's what you're going to get on this tooling. Let's go ahead and unscrew it from the base. Again, these are all dusty. The packaging is gross. I do kind of hang on to this stuff for whatever reason, even though I'm never going to display them like this, because obviously the packaging's pretty rough and scuffed and all of that. They just were not really loved on, not really cared for. So I can't get it back in this stupid box, but there we go. But all of them I end up taking out of the box. I don't think I've ever really found a Malibu diecast for sale in pristine packaging. It's all like wrecked like that. Kind of cool to keep, I guess, for the information, for any possible future correspondence. But other than that, not that great. So this, it's black. And again, we got inserted details up front for the headlights and for the taillights. And it's got rubber tires. It rolls really nice. All of these roll pretty good. But take a peek at that. A pretty nice version of this Range Rover, right? I mean, I think it is. Pretty good version. For a 1/64 scale, Range Rover Sport. Don't know that there is any other one out there from any other brand that's better than this. You know, there may not be. It's a very nice little diecast model, for sure. And I'm guessing it's pretty somewhat close to 1/64 scale. This is only a 2-row seat little SUV, right? I don't think it's got a third row in it. So that's, you know, it's about the size it should be maybe for it. If anything, it might be a little bit small, but I think it's pretty close. And then we've got this Land Rover Range Rover. Okay, so same, manufactured by High Speed. Same deal. Someone will probably pipe in the comments more actual information about this brand of diecast, and I'm open to it. So definitely do that. I'll pin your comment if you have anything, you know, that adds value to the video. Anytime someone adds value to the video in a significant way, I do try to pin their comment. So if you got it, I will do that. So this is the Land Rover Range Rover. Okay, not the Sport, so it's a different tooling. And you can see some real obvious differences in it. One thing you may notice just looking at it right here is the lack of inserted taillights. So it just has, you know, a graphical representation of taillights that you may notice, and as well as headlights. So lack of detail there in comparison to the other one. Lack of detail here in comparison to the other one. Still riveted together, and it's got plastic tires as opposed to this one that's got soft rubber tires. So that's a bit weird, right? Made by the same company, manufactured by the same, or at least branded as the same thing, made by the same, I believe they're manufactured by the same company here, and done in completely different ways. So when you're looking for Malibu diecast, if you don't want the plastic tires and you don't want just the little graphic details for the headlights and taillights, you got to watch what casting you get, because they are different. Okay, so this one is like a much more high quality little replica than this one is. So pretty darn interesting, right? They didn't do the same thing for all of their models. They didn't use the same methods or techniques, right? So let's look at another one. This one's going to have some issues. This is a VW Trig, and I actually got 2 Trigs here. I didn't even notice that, but I do have 2. Looks like I've got one in like an orange and this silver one, and it appears this one's got some problems. Let's go ahead and, ooh, like the base is completely coming off. So let's go ahead and get it off of this base and set it down. I don't know if I can fix that or not. I could with a tap and screw. I don't know if I will ever bother, but kind of just keeping it as an example of the car. Okay, so this is interesting. This one, let's see if we can get this to snap back in maybe. See, it's come off completely. It is broken out. I don't want to break out the front, but if I did, we'd be able to look at the inside of it. This one has, okay, just graphical details up front. Graphical details in the back, and then it has rubber tires on this particular one. I feel like I should be able to pop this back in. And I probably will be able to, just not on camera. I feel like if I do this, ooh, yeah, there we go. Look at that. Look at that. Success on camera. Boom. She's popped back in. So there's your Touareg. Not a very good looking Volkswagen, I might add. Not a big fan of it, but interesting casting nonetheless. So you've got it in silver here. Okay, and then we've got it in this orange. And I think there's some differences. So let's go ahead and open up this one. Is that a spider sack in there? There was like a, that is cobweb inside the packaging. That's fun. And I don't know what the deal is with this too. They got like this, there must have been some information here. I'm finding this on all the bases, this little square piece. That's a little bit weird. Not sure on that. Let's get this one unscrewed. Oh, they all have this, by the way. And not all of them, but all the ones that need it, I should say. But it's kind of done in a neat way. Okay, just put the screw up there. Put it back on the back in the acrylic. And put it back like that. All right. So, same tooling, different color. This one actually has silver. Well, I guess that one might have silver trim, but it's a silver car. Or maybe not. But you get details up front. You get some details in the back. Of course, not inserted details or, you know, separate pieces. And this one has plastic wheels as opposed to rubber wheels. So now that's the first time I've actually realized that they've used the same casting with different wheels. Pretty weird, right? So that's your Trig. Color's better on this one. The base is attached, though, on this one, without having to get it attached. And essentially a similar rim, not quite the same, but similar. The rims actually look better on this one with the plastic tires, so that's a bit odd. But yeah, there's your Trig. So, interesting there. The other thing I noticed with these too is some cars just really don't stand the test of time when they've been stored and knocked around and mistreated and, you know, not probably in humid climates and all the other stuff. The paint starts to get paint rash and has some issues. Now, with the Malibu diecast stuff, other than the occasional kind of like orange peel, because they're painted so thick, I generally don't see anything with like a paint rash or an issue there. This is an Audi A4 Cabrio, and let's check out what do we get with this model. Other than dust. Plastic base again. They all have plastic bases, by the way. This one just gets the painted details up front and very basic indeed. And then in the back, again, we get painted details. And this one has plastic tires as opposed to rubber. And the paint job's a little bit orange peeling, but it's still a decent little diecast model or representation of this little Audi A4 Cabrio. And still just kind of neat. So let's do another Cabrio. Well, we got a BMW. Here's a BMW 3 Series. I don't know what this is going to have. Looks like it's going to have like just the painted details for the headlights and taillights. So I'm guessing we're going to get another plastic tire model. But we'll see here. I just realized in the background I have two BMW 5 Series as well. I haven't really, like, I got these and I didn't even really look at them until now. So we'll go ahead and pull the other blue convertible off of the base here. So we got a BMW and an Audi. So we got the BMW 3 Series. The other thing that I noticed that might be irritating to some people, and it's going to be irritating to me down the line too, because I'm going to be like doing a video on these cars eventually, and I'll show you like the whole collection of them. And then I'm going to be like, oh shoot, which car is this? Because it doesn't tell you on the base. You don't get the base cheats sheet. So I'm going to have a hard time remembering this is a BMW 3 Series. I don't know my BMWs all that well. But you get the painted details up front and the painted details in the back. I should know from the 330 Ci or whatever. I mean, I should be able to figure it out kind of on camera. Like this one I can figure out easily. Hey, that's a A4 BMW. But yeah, plastic tires again with this one. So no metal. And this is a good looking car. I think a good looking model of the car. I think it looks pretty decent. So I am digging it, even though it's got the plastic tires. So like I said, I don't know what ended up happening with any of these toolings. Like, where are they today? No clue. Did we even look at a copyright date either? I don't think I even saw one on the packaging anywhere. I'm trying to find. Well, here's this says copyright date 2007. And if I had to get, I don't see any of the dates though on the other ones though. Just that Jaguar one says 2007. But that gives us somewhat of an idea, right, of when these possibly could have came out. I'm going to guess they came out, and I'm going to guess that they didn't last very long. I'm going to also hypothesize that these were sold in hobby shops that sold train stuff. Hence the 187 scale versions of these cars. That would be my guess, is that they didn't sell a ton in 164, but they have, I think they have a much wider selection actually of cars in their 187 scale line. for scale replicas. Not sure why they decided to do 164. I don't think 164 is a very popular train scale, model train scale. So I know it is. I know it's a weird one, but it's not very popular. Which is too bad, because if it was a popular train scale, then there'd be a lot more diorama options for 164 scale. So this Jag, this car was subsequently released as a green light. This was used in green light. I think the Trig actually was used in green light as well. I forgot to mention that. I think this was put out once in Motor World, and I think I have it. I think it was blue. But this was red as a green light, this Jaguar. And this is actually a really cool tooling. You get the inserted details for the taillights, pretty decent. This beautiful metal flake blue paint and details up front. So this is one of the good ones, I would say. Very, very cool, this Jaguar. So I'm definitely digging this one. This might be the best one in the batch. I don't know. I do really think this thing's charming as well. It is a weird looking little car, but I do like it quite a bit. And I don't know if anybody else really has put this car out in 164 either. So that's what you're getting, right? I don't know if anybody put this one out in 164. A lot of the stuff, like the Range Rover, I'm sure there's somebody that did it. The Trig, who knows? So it's always neat when you can get a brand and find some cool castings of cars that aren't available any other from any other brand. This last one is going to be the BMW 5 Series, and we have it in 2 colors. I don't know if they're going to be different, if one's going to have rubber tires or not. We're going to find out. But there's that guy in silver. Go ahead and pull it off of the base here. Plastic tires. This is a BMW 5 Series. And I'm just putting the thing back in the box. Should probably wait till I'm done. But yeah. Silver. I'm going to pull the one out in blue right away. We'll look at them both. And get this one off the base. So again, BMW 5 Series. It looks like this one's constructed exactly the same, actually. So nothing different with it. And that's majority of the time you see. I was actually kind of shocked on that Trig that we had 2 different wheel options for it, because I don't ever recall seeing that in any of the other castings that I've seen from Malibu International. There's that 530i or 1. I don't know. Again, I don't know my BMW names. Not good with. You see a casting line right there that's pretty prominent. Painted details. They kind of missed the grill on this one. See, it's there. Oh, maybe they didn't miss it because it's just silver. No, I mean, they didn't even try. Look at that. It's just gone. It's just not there. That's kind of goofy. I wonder if that's like an error. Maybe not. Maybe just because, like, see, the only color they used up front is silver. Except for the BMW logo. But they just use silver on the blue. There's no, like, black outline or anything like that. So really basic headlight and taillight details. And this one, unfortunately, didn't even get a grill because of it. So, yeah. So, like I said, some tooling, some castings are way better than others. But they're all kind of neat. And, like, I'm not going to say you're probably going to go out and find a bunch of these. You might. I mean, you can find them on eBay occasionally. I actually have better luck when I've found these gradually over time. I've just seen them either at, like, local meets or, like, swap meets, stuff like that. Is usually when I've found these, and usually find 1 or 2. You don't find a bunch. And then oftentimes they're selling them cheap because they're, like, some odd all brand car, and the package is usually roached, and they just want to get rid of them, and people overlook them, and I don't. I grab them. So this blue Jag is pretty sick, I must say. I really do like this blue Jag. I think this is a sweet one. This one and this one, I'm kind of just digging. Just kind of digging them. All right. You guys let me know what you think in the comments down below about Malibu International Diecast. Do you have any in your collection? Would you consider any of these for your collection? Do you think they're kind of cool? I think they're kind of cool. You guys let me know what you think. All right. Thanks a lot again. Y'all have a good day, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.